speaking of Tony Rock, I remember the first time I saw him was last year. He had like a birthday special back in June at the Laugh Factory.
Oh yeah, Laugh Factory.
And actually, I think I was telling you the other day how that came about was because I was just trying to figure out a way to get out here and just do interviews. So I reached out to Lonnie Crook.
Love Don, yeah.
And
one of my judges for the comedy festival.
Shout out to Lonnie. Thank you for the opportunity as well. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey, is there any way possible to like come out there and do interviews with comedians? And if you're interested, you're more than welcome to share your story as well. And she was like, I'd be happy to, share my story. And she said, you can come out here. Plus, I had already had some other interviews lined up as well. But that Sunday was, he had a special for his birthday out there at the Laugh Factory. That's where I met Bilal at also.
Okay, I'm like, that's funny. I was there.
Yeah, Bilal was there. That's when the first time I met him, and he was sharing his story. He was just kind of new to being out here.
Yeah, well, he probably should have been new by that time too.
And he was he was telling me he was just trying to peep the scene and see what's going on. But I met him out there. But yeah, that was my first time, seeing Tony Rock. And I didn't know he had some family from
South Carolina. People from South Carolina.
I was seeing beside some of them, up
Charleston.
Charleston, yeah.
Okay.
They came out there for his birthday special and they was sitting beside me telling me, I was like, dang, it's crazy how
small world.
It is. Funny. It really is, man.
Interesting.
Yeah. So how did that situation come about with you getting that opportunity, working with Tony Rock?
Great question. Hanging out, man. So when I quit my job at the banking, I was in banking up until 2021 or 22. I feel like I was so overworking. I was like, I think I'm ready to just do the comedy thing full time. I think I can't focus on work anymore. So I quit my job. In the Laugh Factory, one of the big 3 Hollywood clubs that are in Hollywood, they have an open mic since the beginning of time on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock, every Tuesday. So if you're a comedian and you're trying to get noticed by the club, you go to the open mic and you do your 2-minute audition. If your 2-minute audition goes well, you get called back to do another performance, right? And so, I'm sorry, it's a 1-minute audition. 1 or 2 minutes. Okay, actually it's 2 minutes. 2-minute audition, you get called back for 3 minutes. So I was going every Tuesday, and you gotta sit outside in line and all that. And so when you get called for the show, you gotta get on the audition show, you perform, and the show is at 5 o'clock when you do the audition. Now, so on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock, you're in Hollywood. I live all the way, 45 minutes away, going back to Inglewood. So I'm like, I'm not driving back home just to come back out. If I go to Hollywood at 5 o'clock, I'm hanging out the rest of the day. So it turns out I would go to that audition, and then there was the other Hollywood club, Improv, is down the street. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, they have auditions too right after that. And so I'm like, oh snap, I'm gonna get done with my audition, go down the street, and then do that audition. And then by that time, that's over 7 o'clock, that was time for the shows to start in Hollywood. So I'm like, I'll just go back up to the Laugh Factory and hang out at the show now since I'm already over here. Mm-hmm. And as I was doing that, I realized that every Tuesday I'm at the auditions, I come back at 7, there's a black guy hosting the show here. I'm like, oh, no, that can't hurt. There's a black comedian at the club. Ruben Paul, by the way. Ruben Tuesdays is the name of the show. And so when you see somebody who looks like you kind of like, but he's more interested in what's going on.
Right,
this guy's had success. For me, I can reach out and understand what's going on from him. So I started coming to that show and hanging out. I introduced myself to Ruben. He's like, yo, man, if you're a comic, you should be seen. You should be visible, work your way up. And I asked about trying to get on his show. And he's like, have you been called back on Tuesdays yet? Have you won set of the night yet? That's what the whole thing is for. Every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, best set gets called back for set of the night. You get to perform again. Mm-hmm. And once you do that like enough times in a row, they'll give you a chance on their Fresh Faces show. So he was like, have you done Fresh Faces? Have you won set of the night yet? And I was like, I ain't done none of that. He's like, win your set of the night, get on Fresh Faces, get seen by the owner, Jamie, who's the owner of the Laugh Factory, and you get all that done, holler at me. Maybe I can get you on a show. So I was like, all right, bet. So I kept coming on Tuesdays. And I come on Tuesdays, I would do my same routine, go to the other club, then come back for the 7 o'clock show. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, I started coming there Tuesday realizing like, man, I look like Tony Rock over there every time I come here. And it was. And this is like 2 years ago, right? But I had seen Tony Rock when I first went out here 10 years ago. He was hosting this show, All Def Digital. Russell Simmons would basically do like a variation of his Def Comedy Jam show in LA, but it was just a weekly show, and Tony Rock was the host of it. Mm-hmm. And that's when I found out that he was a stand-up. I just remember from all of us.
Yeah, I remember all of us too.
Yo, that's Tony Rock do comedy. So And I'm watching him host these shows, and he's just killing it every week. And I'm like, this dude hilarious. And I wanted to speak to him back then because there was always a hangout afterwards. I'm like, nah, I ain't funny enough to be walking up on comedians. And so now, 7 years later, I'm seeing him. Now he's only 30 feet away, but I see some comedians I know in LA sitting nearby him. Mm-hmm. So I kind of go like, hey, you know, say what's up to those comics, say what's up to him, and they can walk away. And I said to myself, I ain't gonna say nothing to him unless I got a question to ask him. And so sometimes he would go up on stage because Ruben would have like a comic missing, or he's booked a Ruben show, and I watch him kill again. I'm like, this dude just be killing all the time. So I was like, all right, I finally got a question to ask him. I'm like, hey man, I remember watching you back in the day, and I had my monthly show at the time too, because I just quit my job. Like, all right, watch me doing shows. Mm-hmm. I'm hosting my own show. I was like, Tony, man, how'd you get so good at hosting? I don't understand, like your crowd work, everything's so just crazy. And he was like, he gave me his answer about how he got to how good he was. And I was just like, that's a great gold nugget. You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of where I left it. I was like, thanks, I want to buy this. That's all I wanted to know. Mm-hmm. But coming every Tuesday, more comics that I knew was sitting nearby, and they like, yo, pull up a chair. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we always shooting the shit, like you said. Are comics funny? Are they talking? What's going on? Mm-hmm. I would, start throwing out my input a little bit here and there to the room of comics, and everybody, like, either I say something really, really funny or I say something really, really insightful. And I think Tony started to notice because he'd be like, hey, what did you say? And he'd be like, yeah, he like nodded his head, like,
just taking notes.
This nigga got sense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, now all this is happening, the Tuesday auditions, I'm winning these. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm winning. And then, but the bookers were like changing at the time, so it was going a little bit of like employment change or role change. So I impressed one booker, and that booker kind of be gone. And I impressed another booker, and that booker would be gone. So now I done won 11 times. And it's a weekly event. Mm-hmm. And you get called back to perform again. So if you do 11 wins, that's at least 22 times I've been performing in 6 or 7 months. It's only 4 weeks in a month. So imagine this, I'm on stage every other week. So by the time period, comics are coming back and going, because some of the audition comics would come and be back at 7 o'clock too and be like, this dude keep fucking winning, ain't no point of doing the auditions. And he'd be like, who? And they're like, this dude, John. And he's like, everybody keeps saying you're funny, I never seen you perform before. And I'm like, I'll fly to any city you're performing at on my dime and I'll do a guest spot if you let me. I'm funny. Mm-hmm. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah. Wherever you going, I'll fly there, anywhere. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to Chicago. I'm like, I'll buy tickets right now. He's like, all right. so like, I was like, I gotta be ready. No matter what happens, I'm always gonna offer. Right. Like, hey, I'm wherever you got me going, I'll do a guest spot. I'll show you I'm funny. Chicago did end up working out, but everybody watched that conversation and was like, whoa, shit, John, oh, you better not bother me. Yeah. So I was like, I didn't end up going to Chicago, but all right, we'll come to Tacoma. Tanae Jackson's comedy club in Tacoma. So I was like, bet, I'll go to Tacoma then. And so when we got back from Tacoma, I did my sets, and I came back, and all the comics were just sitting in the room like, well, how did John do? And he was like, John did his fucking thing. And everybody's like, ah! Everybody started high-fiving me and shit. And it was funny. I was like, okay, cool. Because he didn't tell me either. He was like, I'll let everybody know once I get back from Tacoma how Grimy did. That's what he calls it. He calls it Grimy. So everybody just sitting in the room like, all right, it's Tuesday. I'm ready to hear the results. And so that went well. And then I guess like from there, it just kind of ended up being like a thing where I was like, hey, that was fun, man. You know, if you ever want to do that again, I'm happy to book myself anywhere. I'll go anywhere and perform. And so I think he was about to offer me another spot, but he ended up losing a feature one weekend. He's like, you want to come feature? Which is I did an opening spot originally, which is a 10-minute set. Feature is a 30-minute set before the headliner comes out. And Tony's shows are just 2-man. So there's no real host or opener. It's the feature doing 30 and then Tony. So it's called a 2-man. And a lot of comics do that if they don't want a host or don't care for a host or don't, but it's really a confidence thing. That means you got trust in your guy and then your person and then you. So it's a dope setup if you do it. That means that we bring out 2 funny people and that's it. So I got to do that with him in Columbus, Ohio, and that was an insane experience to feature for an entire weekend. And then like here and there, it just ended up being a thing where it's like, yo, I'm hitting the road, I got my features, but come still come and open up the show. So now, since maybe like September, he gave it up to finish the rest of the year out with him. Like, I can do every weekend with you except for my festival, you know? So that was an unexpected thing that happened while I was planning for the festival to be taking on the road the rest of the year. And you know, we're done with the festival. But I'm about to be in Austin in 2 days.
Man,
you know?
so that's a blessing.
So,
man.
yeah.
Look how it all came about, and then you were just willing to, bet on your own dime and bet
Absolutely.
on yourself, and just go out there, not knowing what the outcome will be. You were still willing to go out there and just take a chance and bet on yourself. And that's so important. I tell people, man, just bet on yourself. Like I said, you can be willing to invest in yourself and take that chance, regardless of what the outcome is going to be. Whether you get what you want or not, it's still something you can learn from.
Being game ready, like to me, the phrase "if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready." It means a lot to me, man, because I know what people want now. Like if they offer you the opportunity, they expect you to be like, like it's like that. I've already done my work to get where I'm at, so if I'm extending it to you, little nigga, like you better say yes. There's no reason to say no. I didn't fly up out of St. Louis. I didn't give up my close family relationships or spending quality time with family or people in their last years of life, like to be in LA 2,000 miles away, to not be ready for somebody to go on stage right now. What am I doing here if I'm not ready to do that? So, and the investment of saying I'll fly anywhere is me saying like I'm not here for no other reason, man.
Right.
I only want to do stand up. A lot of people say, do you audition for movies and shows? I don't audition for nothing, dog. I am a comedian. That's all I care about. If that TV stuff comes, sure, but my only goal is to get better and better at stand up. And so, like to have been ready and then take those stage opportunities and then do that, what I did that weekend, that was exciting. I was like, I'm not nervous about that. I'm excited about that. You know what I'm saying? So change how you feel. Some people get nervous about opportunities. Like, I'm excited. Please, anybody saying they want to give me a spot to see how I am on stage, please. I'm excited.